All right, guys, here we go for the DFS Minute PM edition tonight. It's about 6:15 Tuesday night, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Take it easy tonight. Definitely, live it up, do what you got to do, but let's be safe, okay? All right, Rath here, and I'm going to give you 8 plays. Talked about it yesterday, gave you 8 plays, 4 between 2 and 3K on DraftKings and 4 between 3.1 and 4K. It all depends on the landscape and how the salaries play out and things like that, depending on what we want to do. But my goal is to give you 8 guys under 4K or less on DraftKings where you can have value that will allow you to spend up at pitching and then allow you to get some of the bigger bats in and that you need to win in daily fantasy baseball. There's only 2 guys I see tonight that are worth recommending in the 2 to 3K range. Ryan Raburn is at 3K, hitting cleanup against the lefty Jason Vargas. 9.5 points so far against left-handed pitching, and you get him in the outfield. Looks like outfield is going to be where there's some value tonight. So Ryan Raburn is going to be a guy, one of my top plays tonight, and usually is a top play for me when he's hitting in a prime lineup spot against left-handed pitching, weak left-handed pitching. Billy Burns, talked about him last night. Definitely going to roll with him again tonight because on DraftKings because of the elite speed and the bonus that you get for singles and stolen bases on DraftKings. These guys can get 10 or 15 points like nothing. And at 2.7, if I can get 8 out of him, I'm going to be happy. And 8 for Billy Burns tonight, I think, is achievable going against Trevor May. And Burns is not as good from the left side based on his minor league numbers, but it's not a huge difference. And I like the fact that he's going against a righty because he should be able to get some steals against a righty versus where it was a lefty, it'd be a little bit tougher. So Burns, for me, I'd say Burns and Raburn, I'm going to have to find a way to get these guys in. The price and the matchup are just too good. 6 guys in the 3 to 4K range. And the first guy is Dustin Pedroia at 3.8 against Drew Smyly. I'm not a huge fan of taking hitters against good pitchers, but Pedroia does mash lefties at home, and he's done it throughout his entire career. 9 FanDuel points against lefties this year, 7.7 at home. So you get him at bare minimum. I'm hoping for 8 points tonight. That'd be about a 2 multiplier, a little bit more than 2, with an upside of 12. Puts me at around that 3 range, which is what we need. We need a multiplier of 3 to win these tournaments. We got to get hitters that are going to get us 10, 12 points in a given night. And so from a tournament perspective, that's what we're looking for. But we want that floor. We want that upside. Pedroia is the guy I think that gives it to you. Napoli would be the other one that I like in that lineup at 3.9 against Smyly. 12 points against left-handed pitching so far this year. Again, we're dealing with very small sample sizes, but we also have historical on our side. We know that Napoli is good against left-handed pitching. I think the 2 guys that could give Smyly some trouble tonight are Pedroia and Napoli. So, again, you get Napoli there at the first base position. Not somebody I'm super high on, but if you need to make the salary work at first base, he would be a guy that I think you can look at. Stephen Vogt, talk about him almost every single day. As long as the right-handed pitcher's going, and it's a weak right-handed pitcher, I'm going to roll Stephen Vogt at catcher, 3.9. I saw what he did last night, 12.6 points on the road and 10.6 points against right-handed pitching. So we're paying almost 4. We need about 12 for a tournament, and we need about 8 or 9 for heads-ups and for 50-50s. All in play here, especially against a weaker pitcher in Trevor May. So Vogt to me is probably a lock tonight, along with Raburn and Burns. So Ethier, Andre Ethier, again, I keep talking about him. Going to keep rolling him out there against right-handed pitching. Garza is not a weak right-handed pitcher, but he's not elite anymore. And you do get a favorable price tag at 3.9. Not super high on Ethier, but we had to get a guy in. There's some other players out there that maybe I might like a little bit more. But Ethier, I think, still gives you good value. 9.1 DraftKings points against right-handed pitching so far this year. So, again, we do have that ability of getting a 10 or a 12 tonight with Ethier. Starlin Castro at shortstop. I think this is a guy that's under the radar right now with this matchup. 3.8 going against a lefty and Tyler Lyons. So we get a weak left-handed pitcher hitting in the middle of the lineup. 9.9 DraftKings points against lefties. Again, small sample, but we do get the split edge, and we do get a price edge, and we get a position edge. So I like the shortstop. I like Castro. These right-handed Cub bats could do some damage tonight against Lions. They do strike out a lot, but I think there's a possibility that they could do some damage, and I like Castro hitting in the middle of that lineup. getting on base, get some runs, maybe a potential RBI as well. And the last guy I'm going to throw in there is I really like the value here at third base, David Freese at 3.3 going against Paxton. 12.4 points against lefties so far this year. So again, I know small sample size, but we do know that Freese historically, again, a much better hitter against lefties. I don't put Paxton in that elite category. He is more of an upper tier guy right now, but I do like Freese, and I love the price, and I like the position. Allows me to get some of the bigger bats in. Now, we do have some weather issues. Looks like Miami, Washington could be delayed at the start. That would put Steven Strasburg at risk for me, and I'm not going to be on him tonight. Wasn't going to be on him anyway, but with the weather situation, I'm just not going to take a chance. I'm very conservative with weather. I don't want to get burned. St. Louis, Chicago, Cubs, it looks like this could be about a 1 hour delay. Pitchers may or may not be at risk, but it does look like that game is going to get in. Arizona, Colorado, looks like it's very risky tonight. Looks like this game, if it does get in, it's going to be a long delay. Could be some serious weather issues out there. I'm not touching the game. I'm not taking the risk. Let other people do that. And if it pays off, so be it. And then the other thing to mention, we do have 15-mile-an-hour winds or so blowing out in San Francisco. And that's enough for me to probably stay off Andrew Cashner tonight. I was on him. I know some other guys are on him as well. But for me, I'm probably looking at going my top two guys. I know Greinke is my top guy, and Jesse Chavez would be my value pick. And then Garrett Richards is a guy that I think you can roll out there as well. I think he's in a favorable position here. And I know he kind of struggled a little bit so far this year, but I do look for Garrett Richards to have a big start tonight. I think he's somebody you can roll out there and be safe. All right, guys, that's it for the DFS Minute tonight. Rath signing off. And as we always say here at Roto Curve, stay classy, DFS.